Good morning. It's Patrice Lynn here, and today I'm going to share with you how I manifested a house in 4 days, and you can too. Stick with me, and I'll explain how it all happened. All right. Before my husband and I got married, we had decided to move in together, and it was a down economy. So we found this house to rent, but the yard was a mess, the inside was a mess. So we talked the owner into letting us move in with one free month rent in exchange for fixing it up. So we started scrubbing ovens and floors and walls, and we started cutting down all this knee-high grass out in the yard and unearthing these beautiful flower beds. It was a log home, and it had just become really run down and disheveled. And we were in our 20s. We had so much energy and drive. We said we can make it happen. So they were very pleased with the results. The only problem is people driving by on the street started noticing what a beautiful house it was. And the landlord came to us and he said, "You know what? For 2 more months, I'm going to let you live here because you're helping me to sell the house, and I'm really sure it's going to sell." So basically, he gave us 2 months to move out. So now we had to find a house. And I came up with a bright idea. I'm like, "Hey, why don't we buy a house?" And of course, I didn't have really any money and I had a low paying job. But my partner had a down payment. And I was like, "Okay, let's do this." So we started out by making a list. Now, I had been in the Yes course, which was a personal development course, and my boss, Lee Poole, told me about it at the time. And then I ended up starting to read the book Think and Grow Rich, which lots of people talk about. Bob Proctor read it every single day for 60 years, and he became fabulously wealthy. So I thought, I'm going to just go ahead and put some techniques into effect that I'm reading about in the book. What that entailed was making a list, like just writing on a piece of paper all the qualities I was looking for in a house. I had done this with my husband to be, and I found him, and they taught us in this course that whatever you want, you have to be really specifically clear and make a list of those qualities and then attract to you what you're looking for. So I found him. So I said, "Hey, let's do the same thing on the house that we want to buy." And he was like, "Okay." So we started making a list of all the things that we wanted, the number of bedrooms, the bathrooms, that it would be on a little bit of land, it would have views of the mountains, it would have places to entertain, it would have one extra room that would be like a craft room because we were both into that. All these very specific things. There would be some unique qualities about the house. It would be beautiful. Well, one by one, we came up with this list, and it had some very specific things, like there would be phone jacks in every room. Of course, that was back before cell phones. And then also that there would be a sink in the garage because both of us were outdoorsy people, and we would go ride our mountain bikes, get really muddy and dirty, and then we would need a place to come in and get cleaned up before we went into the house. So we had some really specific things on the list. Well, I had learned the best way to go about this is to close your eyes and visualize all of those things that we wanted in sensually rich detail. So that's exactly what I did. And then I added one more special ingredient, and that is that I felt what it would be like to be able to enjoy all these things that we had on the list. So one by one, I went through and I saw us living in the home. I saw the joy and the excitement and the wow factor of the house and the view, and just having friends and family gather there, how much fun we were going to have, the creative energy we would have in our craft room. I was thinking about starting a business, and I knew I would need a place like a home office in there. So anyway, I put all this together, and I was the one that did the whole visualization, and I just got really deep into it. I remember we were on our way to a friend's wedding, and it was on the way there that I laid down on the bed and visualized and imagined all these things in sensually rich detail. And I felt what it would feel like to have all of these things in the future as if they were happening now. Well, the astonishing part of the story is that 4 days later, we were standing in that house. Wow. So what happened is my partner, Dave, he had a friend that was a realtor, and she told us, she goes, I can't show you this house now, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the address, and then you can go into that neighborhood and you can take a look at it from the street. Well, we went to that neighborhood and we thought, wow, we've never been here before. I was out in the country, but yet everybody had like an acre of land. So it was a neighborhood, but it was very rural feeling, and there were views of the mountains. So we're driving around the neighborhood, and all of a sudden I see a house, a beautiful wood-sided ranch home, and it says for sale by owner. And I'm like, Dave, and I saw him in the garage. I'm like, Dave, let's stop. They're in the garage. Let's go talk to him. And he's like, really? And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. So we go up and meet them, and they said, oh, would you like to look at the house? And we're like, yes. So they gave us a tour of the house. We came back out to the car. I pulled out the list and I exclaimed to Dave, this is our house. And he's like, what? I go, yeah, this is it. It has everything on the list. And the only two things it didn't have were the phone jacks in every room and a sink in the garage. Well, it was a down economy, so people were not all clamoring to buy houses at that time. And we went ahead and made a counter offer to their asking price. And they didn't accept our offer, but they wanted us to pay the full price. But they said, we'll put a sink in the garage and phone jacks in every room. And we're like, okay, it's a done deal. So we bought the house and moved in record time. We had less than 30 days to find a house, buy it, and move in. But we did it. We made it happen. And we lived in that house many, many years. And it was just the most beautiful place, all imagined in our mind first. Okay, now you can do this too. It works with so many things. Maybe you saw my broadcast about how I met Joe Dispenza, also in 4 days of using these similar techniques. So they really work. Stick with me, stick with my channel, and I'll share more and more and more and lead you through some of the processes of how this works. Have a great day. Bye.